Hello and good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are in the world. Thanks for joining me. Right, we're back on the Revell 144th scale Type 21 German U-Boat with interior, kit number 05078. As you know, I've been doing a little bit of work on and off on this one behind the scenes. But before we go on to what I've been doing, we'll just have a quick check, see who we've got in chat. And first in was Ethel. Hiya, Ethel. Thanks for joining us, mate. And we've also got Zombie Hunter in. Hiya, Zombie. Hope you're well, mate. Right, what have I been up to? Well, if you remember from last time, I had done this little section here, which was adding the interior box to one side of the conning tower. I have actually closed this up now. So there's the conning tower section itself. I've given it a little bit of a rough up and a little bit of weather, pardon me, just inside there, just to make it a little more interesting than it was. Oh, he said dropping it. There we go. So that's the conning tower pretty much put together. I have also painted up both of the anti-aircraft guns, ready to go onto the conning tower as well. And I have also painted up all the sections that need to be added to the hull, such as rear rudder, the propeller vanes and the diving vanes there. The only part I haven't actually painted up at the moment are the two propellers. Didn't want to do that before I got everything else sorted. I'm not sure yet exactly what shade metallic paint I'm going to use on these yet. May well be a brass, but we'll see as we go along. So, the plan for today. Plan is, I will just for now get the guns press fitted into the conning tower, just so we've got them nice and safe. I will then, let's move the camera down a little bit so you can see a little bit better. I'm then going to build up the top assembly for the conning tower. Get the various bits and pieces, such as the periscope, antennas, etc., attached to the top of the conning tower as well. I am not going to go on to fitting the conning tower onto the deck as yet, because I've noticed they're asking you at a very early stage to get one side of the deck fitted to one side of the hull. Now, I think if I'm going to do that, there's every likelihood that I'm going to end up either knocking bits off or misaligning pieces. I think I would actually be better building internal compartments first and fitting those into the hull as I go along and dry fitting the whole time. So just, taping the two hull parts together whenever I do a compartment section and dry fitting the whole the deck sections onto the top of that each and every time, just to make sure that I don't get any really nasty surprises further down the line. So, as I say, we'll try and get this top section done. We'll get these on, and I may then just go on and start getting these decals on the inside of the hull on the one side. Now, I believe where these decals are actually mounted is basically way back on the kit where the engine room is. So I'm assuming it's just sort of dials and gauges for the engine room, but we'll have a look at that as we go along. One thing I have done, and that is I've put the first layer of paint down on the outside of the holes as well. So we've got all that done. I have tried to go a little thicker in places just to give it sort of like, a very slight tonal variation. I don't just want sort of like a big long grey piece of plastic, but I am going to be looking at actually getting these weathered up a little bit. So I've done both of those. That's the full side, and we have the cutout side as well. which I've got painted up both inside and out. So I've gone for a lightish off-white on the inside for now. That may be open to change as we go along. I'll just see how I feel about that once I start dry fitting and test fitting different bits and pieces on the inside. But right, where are we? Let us start thinking about getting these pieces on. Before I do that, I'll just have a quick nip in chat, because I've noticed we've had a few people in since we've started. So many thanks, guys, for joining us. Don't forget to give us a thumbs up or a like if you think the video deserves it. It always helps with YouTube. And let's have a look-see. Who have we got? Okay, so we had Athol in, we've had Zombie in. Thanks for coming in, guys. And we got Tim Man's Modern Garage in. Hiya, Tim Man. Hope you're well, mate. And we've also got Roaming Bricks in. Roaming, hope you're doing well. And we've got Sophie and Martin. Hiya, hope you're well. And Following Ghost in. Hiya, Ghost. Thanks for nipping in, mate. Much appreciated. Right, and that's all the chat up to date, I believe. As I said before, any comments or queries you've got with regards to this particular build, please put your question or your comment into chat. Just sort of prefix it with QQQ or CCC, and I'll have a nip back and have a look from time to time and answer any questions or queries that you've got regarding this one. Okay, so let us get on with the bits and pieces that we have here. As I say, we're down at section 17 at the moment. So we're talking parts 29 and 30. Here we go. Let's have a look. Well, there's 29, and there is 30. There we go. Okay, they're easy enough to find. Let's hope the rest of the build goes just as easily. Get those off. Yeah, if at any time you notice that I'm not actually doing the model kit under the camera, please shout at me in chat and let me know. I will be checking. But I want you guys to see as much of what I'm doing here as possible. There's no point in doing this if I don't do it to the best of my ability for the viewers that I've got. So I don't mind being moaned at. I'm used to it. Right, let's see now. Right, let's get these cleaned up a little bit. I hope you guys had a great weekend. Mine was nice and quiet, which is always a blessing. Flash on there. And what are you guys working on at the moment? Always nice to know what people are doing and how they're progressing with it. Yesterday I was working on some figures for the tabletop game Zombie side, and the figures relate to the British rock band Iron Maiden. There were 6 little minis in the kit, and each one of them is referencing to a particular Iron Maiden album. So I've got those pieces primed and dry brushed, ready for the base paint layers to go on. So they should be fun, hopefully. I must remember that when I'm not live and working on those particular kits, to have some Iron Maiden on in the background. Might inspire me a bit. I see Dominique's nipped in. Are you, Dominique? Hope you're well, mate. Right, let's have a look, see this. See if we can work out where this fits. It's pointing down, so. Right. That definitely looks like it fits like that. Yeah, that's the way. Right. Position a sec. Give that a moment to dry off a little bit, and I'll just try a quick dry fit of that onto the top of the conning tower. Most important thing I can think of when it comes to modelling of any description is dry fit, and dry fit again. So for Mark offering homemade dark chocolate muffins, yeah, I'll only have half a dozen, please, because I'm trying to hold back a little bit. I'll have it with a Diet Coke, that way at least I won't feel quite as guilty. Right. Let's have a look at some of these smaller pieces while that piece is setting off a little bit. Okay, now this particular kit does give you an option of what parts to use with regards to the antennae and the periscope, etc. I think I'm going to go for the all bells and whistles. I'm going to go for the 19 option, I think, rather than the 20. Yeah, I'll go with the 19. I mean, I am no expert whatsoever when it comes to submarines and vehicles of that ilk, so I wouldn't know whether this is right or wrong. I'm sure somebody will tell me. Hopefully I'll get it right. I can't promise anything though. What I'm going to do is, just to make things a little easier, because these screws are quite long and involved, I'll just split the sprue down like that. Makes things much easier to manipulate. Very careful with these pieces. You can just about get away with it if you're careful. So there were 239s. Here's the other one. So we've got the 239s, 36. Where are we? 36. This one. Sounds like I'm ordering a takeaway here. I have 239s, a 36, and some prawn crackers. Yeah. 36, 35. There's 35, and then we have 37. This squarish arrangement here. Right, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, that's it, okay. Hopefully that's all the pieces we'll need for the top. Right, give this a little bit of a clean up. Oh, there we go. Try and do this without doing a terry. It was only 4 or 5 weeks ago. I stuck a scalpel blade right down the front of one finger, which was rather unpleasant, I must admit. Took a while to staunch the blood flow and get a plaster or two on it. I'll give them a little rub down with sandpaper once I've got the extra little nubs of sprue off them. Do all the cutting first and then the sanding second. So, as I said, what's everybody got on their benches at the moment? Anything exciting? Oh, these pieces are a little bit fiddly. Well, I think we can manage just about. Let's do that one. Got the other tiny one. Get them out of the way. Ah, so Dom's working on Ferrari 250 GTO. Very nice. And we've got Dan in. Hiya, Dan. Hope you're well, mate. Thanks for joining us. And so loom knitting baby hats. Oh, lovely. I was actually taught how to hand knit with needles by my grandmother when I was a kid. And I wasn't too bad at doing the old knitting game when I was younger, but I was never able to pick up the art of crochet. My gran could crochet a blanket in about a week, but nah, never something I was able to do. Just couldn't get my head around it. Mind you, most people say I've been a knit for years. Right, yeah. Okay. Right, Ghost, let's have a look. Bench, Yamato turret, 2 dioramas, kit bash space station, and refinery tug. But apart from that, you're sort of like taking it easy, are you, mate? Wow. Okay. Yeah, you'd have to get some pictures up or something, I'd like to see that. Right. That's those parts done and dusted. Let's have a look now. See how this section fits, shall we? Indeed, if it fits. Oops. Oh, actually, that hasn't fitted too bad at all. Wow. I'm pleasantly surprised with that. That fits very nicely. Oh yeah, barely a seam line down either edge to have to worry about. It clicked in quite nicely without moving that internal section. Just enough gap down the back of it there not to move it. Well, that's good. I'm happy with that. Right. Slap a bit of glue on that while I've got a chance. Just clean up the back of that gun turret position. Get it back in place. I should be able to drop just a tiny bit of Tamiya extra thin down there, and that should be the job done. There we go. Oh, it's lovely. Oh, hang on, did I see a certain name in there? Let's have a look. Yeah, we've got Scott's Models in. Hiya, Scott. Hope you're well, mate. Hope you're not doing anything I wouldn't do. And we've got Marcus in. Hiya, Marcus. You all right, mate? Is there anybody streaming after me? Do you know what? I don't know. I don't think so. No, not that I'm aware of. I haven't seen any streams pop up in my feed anyway. Sort of notifying. I mean, there's bound to be somebody in the chat that knows better than me, I would think, with regards to if there's any lives coming up. I know we have JC's Bricks and Builds is a Tuesday, isn't it, I believe? Right, okay. There we go, hopefully. That will be enough. So yeah, if anybody in chat does know if there's anybody streaming after myself, I'm finishing at about 1 o'clock today, I would think. Please let me know and let Scott know. Talking of stream, Scott, I know that you said you couldn't do one on Wednesday, and we were wondering whether Joshy B might be able to nip in and do the job, but I've not seen anything come up on his channel to state whether or not he'll be able to do it. If he can't, and you're still unable to do it Wednesday, I might be able to do one on Wednesday, but it would need to be 12 till 2 UK time rather than 11 till 1. So what I'll do is I'll drop an email out to Joshy later just to find out whether he is going to be able to cover. And if not, I'll try and get one set up. So guys, watch this space. You never know. There might be another live on Wednesday. Right, that piece. Just sit there a moment. I'll put it to one side while it's drying. You don't need to see glue dry. Okay, we've got that section there to do once that piece is dry. So let me grab my marker pen. Right, that we're not doing anyway because that's the variation of it. What have I done? 15, 16 has now been done. It will be once I put the guns on there. That's been done. That's been done. Right. So, other than the deck part, which I say I'm going to do those dry fitting as I go along, putting the compartments inside there. So, don't need to worry about that just yet. The decals I may get on shortly, if I've got the time and the space to do it. I think I might have. Yeah. Right, okay. I believe, I don't know why they're showing that is optional as to whether you filled in the gap or not with regards to the diving vanes, but I'm going to have the diving vanes in the open position anyway, so I don't need to worry too much about that. So that will get done as and when I get round to fitting out the hull. Okay, and we've got tubes here, I'm believing at the back of torpedo tubes that need to be mounted, and it looks like we've got some decals on there to do as well. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 5 decals on that to fit. Right, let's have a look. We'll chat a second. Oh, Zombie saying he's just, sorry, not Zombie, Dan saying he's just finished a magic bus, not sure what's next, and tracking down a rattle can for an up and coming group build. Oh, right, nice one. What's the build of, mate? Or is it secret? So, okay, chaps, I'm just going through the chat. I don't want to miss anything or anybody. Oh, right, okay. Scott saying you might do a live after myself then. Yeah. No worries with that, mate. I might be able to nip in maybe for an hour after I've finished. What I'll do is I'll go until 10 to 1. That way it gives me a chance just to have a 10-minute break, grab a cuppa, and come back, mate. So yeah, brilliant. There you go, guys. You've got an extra. I'm definitely interested, mate. Oh, Dan, the crescent winged wonder, the Handley Page Victor. Oh, lovely. One of the V bombers, love it. I mean, you can't go wrong, can you, with that? I am seriously tempted to do one of those biplanes that I purchased the other day in the very near future. I really fancy some of that, to be fair. They just look nice. Right, let's have a look, see. Right, just want to make sure I have that the right way round when I put the pieces in. 39 apparently. Oh, that's a really nice fit as it happens. I wasn't expecting that. Okay, let's get you in position then. Oh, I wish people would stop talking about muffins in my live streams, you know. I sit here and I hear this growling noise. I think I bought a dog and then realise it's my stomach. It's terrible. Oh, right, Scott's saying I'm night shift tomorrow, so I have to stay up longer than normal tonight. Yeah, that makes sense. You need to get yourself into that rhythm of when you're going to be up and about and working and when you're going to be able to rest. So, yeah, not good. But, well, I mean, if it gives you a chance to put in a live stream you weren't expecting to do, that can't be bad, can it? That's a rather loose fit, but we shall see. It'll be right once I weld it in place for a second or so, I reckon. Right. So if I had a 1-to-1 scale tray of homemade cookies in my kitchen, I would be not sat here playing with bits of plastic. I can assure you that much. Right, just hold that in position for a sec. A bit more clear down the bottom there, make sure it melts nicely in. That way. Okay, that way. Bending back slightly, sketch it forward. And we've got Mike's Mods in. Hiya, Mike. Thanks for joining us, mate. Oh, it's only just liked and subscribed. Well, thank you very much indeed, mate. That's much appreciated. Always helps. I shall nip over to your channel at some stage and return the compliment. Slightly. Right. Just leave that alone for a second. Roaming saying he's enjoying the submarine. Well, thanks, mate. Thanks. Don't thank me though, really. Just thank the people who voted for this kit in the poll that I put up. That was the important part, really. Roaming saying it's good to see everybody. That's really nice, mate. Yeah, we're a nice community, I think, to be perfectly honest. I think we're very, very lucky in that respect. And as I say, any questions you've got at any time and anything that I'm doing, please just stick it in the chat. Just put QQQ beforehand so I know it's a question. I'll be happy to answer whatever I can for you. Dan apologising, saying he's not being rude, just eating lunch. Well, come on, you've got to get things right, haven't you? I need to apologise to Marcus as well. I did send him a message to let him know, but I disappeared unexpectedly from his live stream on Saturday night. Unfortunately, my internet connection decided to go AWOL, and I was unable to get back in afterwards. So, yeah, that was a pain in the butt. But yeah, I do apologise, mate, but normal service has been resumed. That's all I can say. Question for you guys in the chat as it goes while I'm waiting for this little piece to dry. I don't know whether to do this as like a factory fresh build or whether to get the the hull and that weathered up a little bit once I've got the kit together. I would love to know what your opinions are on that, whether you'd like to see it as a weathered, beaten up piece of kit or whether you want it done sort of like almost as a museum piece. Please let me know. I'm quite happy to look into doing either, to be perfectly honest. I'm quite happy with doing weathering on large pieces of metal and stuff. So if Panzer was in chat, he would be saying, "Oh, come on, weather it within an inch of its life." So one up to the weathering just on behalf of Panzer. And we've got Scale Model Ninja in. Hiya, mate. How are you? Thanks for joining. I think no one's pretty much there for now. That piece fits quite nice and snugly. So saying do both. Well, to be honest, I could do. There's nothing wrong with me weathering up just one side of it. That's an option, I suppose. Oh, a ninja sat in class at uni at the moment. Oh, well. How's it going anyway, the class? Athol just had the barnacles, Graham, and talking of barnacles, here's the oldest codger himself, Ross. That's nice, isn't it, eh? Ross, you're loved, mate. You can tell, can't you? So, who remembers the good old days when all you had, with regards to adhesives to doing your model kits, was to hold Umbral polystyrene cement in a tube, eh? God, how we ever got anything built remotely like it should have looked is totally beyond me when I look back. All that spider webbing as you tried to get pieces put into position. Press the parts together to get a good bond, and you ended up with sort of half a tube of glue oozing out the seam. Position nicely. Yes. Put that one in. Give that a moment before I start fiddling around boots close to it because I'm guaranteed to knock it. I mean, it still amazes me that Airfix in their starter kits, where they include, paints, paintbrushes, and the tube of glue, still have the little tube of polystyrene cement in there. Mate, the only use for it I would find is sticking it in an empty little pot, adding some bits of sprue to it, and making sprue goo, to be honest. That's about the only useful thing I can see with it. Hey, how about that? We've got 13 people watching at the moment. Thanks, guys. Please, please give me a thumbs up if you'd be so kind. And also, if you want to hit the like button, please do so. It's always appreciated, and it does help the old YouTube algorithm to wake up and actually, you know, realize you exist. I know you can see on camera a whacking great gap just down there, but that's going to be covered by the anti-aircraft gun anyway, so I'm not worried about that. I've managed to get all the seams that are going to be visible nicely settled down. So, right, let's have a look at this one. See how this fits in the grand scheme of things. Oh, and that just pushed that. You could virtually get away with no glue on that. That's almost snapped in position. I like that. They can keep doing that. Right. I'm going to get a little bit of glue down on that one. I've got a chance. There you go, gluey wooey. In you go. Lovely. Just line it up with the back one. If I can. Up here. That's better. So, people in Chatland, what is your glue of choice? Is it the obligatory Tamiya extra thin, or do you prefer a different brand of the extra thin glues? Because there are quite a few out there, aren't there, these days? That fell out, that wasn't very good. The hole is slightly too small. So, let's see what I've got in the arsenal here. Let's see if we can open this up slightly. No, still needs a little bit more. There we go. That's better. Go back there. Right. Get a little bit of the old sticky stuff in here. Oh, pardon me. Stir it up slowly. All this talk about sticking sticky up bits and poles up in the air and making sure they're fit for purpose. I'm just glad Quano isn't in the chat. I don't think he'd be able to control himself. Oh, while I remember, I have a little parcel coming within the next couple of days, hopefully by Wednesday. Usual bits and bumps, get some more pipettes, get some more sanding sponges. Where are we? What else? Have a look here. Get some more of these little mixing cups, which I use quite a lot. And also I've ordered, would you believe it, yet another airbrush. This will be the fourth one. Getting the Fender, or a Fender anyway, I think it's a 183 Fender, costs about £25. So, it's going to be sort of like, a rough and ready piece of kit, but I have heard good rumours about that particular airbrush with regards to sort of like widespread coverage for things like primers and varnishes, that sort of thing. So that's basically predominantly what I bought it for. I will use it purely for sort of like, potentially purely for primer, because I've got a couple of larger pinned airbrushes already. I've got a Sparmax I've got a Gallieri 39D, which will be okay for doing primers. They go up to a 0.5 needle size, so they'll be fine. And of course, I've got my little Iwata HPB Plus with a 0.2 nozzle for all the fine detail work. So I think I'll probably stop at 4 airbrushes until such time as one falls apart and I have to replace it. So. And we got Mike's Mod saying I'm still using the tube glue as it came with a bunch of kits that I would buy at the auctions. No, don't be sorry for it, mate. As long as you're getting a good result out of it, that's all that matters, you know. Never apologise for what you do, mate. You know. As long as you're enjoying it and you're pleased with the result, who else is there to please, you know? Just pop those in place here. There you look. Let's reposition. Well, you know, they don't look too bad, really. All things considered, as I've already painted them up, so a slightly different shade. Dan saying, glue of choice. The dailies to me are extra thin, yeah, but use Revell contactor. Never really used that, to be honest. Extra thin, quick setting, yeah. And if a big area needs some tube glue, yeah. Well, I tend to use just the standard Tamiya cement for the larger areas. That's my go-to. When it comes to super glues, let's have a look, see. Try and get these down without knocking anything over. Okay, I do go for the Gorilla Super Glue XL, which is a pretty decent glue for super glue. And when it comes to gap filling, I go down the Zappa Gap route, the medium and the really thin. As you can see, the thin one is almost like water. So, really good stuff. And of course, both of those I use with Rocket Booster, which is the accelerator done by Deluxe Materials. And rely on that, you know, just a quick squirt or a little drop in a pot. I'm sorry, guys, you're saying I'm really quiet at the moment. Right, just bear with me. See if we can do something about that. Okay, guys, can you let me know if that's any better? And we've got David Markey in. Are you, mate? Thanks for coming in, pal. Always appreciated. Okay, yeah, if someone in chat can just tell me whether or not I'm coming through loud and clear, because I've just done a few adjustments on the microphone at my end to see if that's made a bit of a difference. Yeah, Dan, you're right, mate. It's his age kicking in, I'm telling you. It's all that work he done over Christmas. It's taken it out of him. It's taken its toll, hasn't it? Right, take those back off for now. Don't need them on until I've resprayed everything up on that conning tower anyway. Okay, so bits on that side. I will check. So we do have, let's get up. Do have the bits on the other side to put on. And oh, great, coming through okay now. That's good. That's good. And Dave's saying, sorry for not joining, but I'm on the bus. Well, I'm sorry, but that is a poor excuse, David, to be perfectly honest. You know, it's you really do need to time your life better to make sure that you're sat ready and able to join in fully with my live stream. So I'm sorry, but you don't get a gold star today, mate. Sorry. No, not the fact that you're there at all, mate, is great. Much appreciated. That's what I was saying. Oh, David M. heading for the shops, intending to buy nothing. Just looking for info and he's already purchased kits. I tell you what, every time Dave comes into chat, he's normally saying, oh, yeah, kit arrived today or should be here in a couple of hours or whatever. Loud and clear now, where's the mute button? David, you cheeky git. God, dear. Getting picked on remotely. I'm not having that. I normally get picked on when I'm at home on my own anyway, so. Right, what have we got? It needs to go on this side. Got 38 and 39. Now it does look that there might be a couple of holes that are left unused in this particular kit. The two at the back are fine, but those two that are in there, as they say, that's optional, that piece. Mind you, they're showing it as, they say optional, but the picture here actually looks, I don't know whether you can see closely enough, but that's not very good. It looks like they've got these two pieces plus that in there, so whether it's optional or not, I don't know. I might stick them all on, you know. I can always take one off if it is incorrect, but see, the same 35 and 37 there is optional, which is, I'll turn it round, this particular mast and this square section here. So, yeah, I don't know. Do you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put part 38 and the other 39 in these two holes here. And being as they say that is optional, there's nowhere in the instructions, and I've looked all the way through them to see whether they've given you what the options are with regards to that, whether a certain variant had it. But there's only one variant of this particular submarine that's available in the instructions anyway. So what I might do is I might just take those two and put the 38 and 39 in there, and those two holes in the bottom there I just might fill and leave that 34 piece out totally. I don't think that's probably for the best. I can get a little bit of thin sprue in there and just glue it in and cut it off, so that's not going to be a major issue. Got a blade that will get in there and do that. So yeah, so let's get these two in, which are 38 and 39. Okay. There's a little cut down sprue. Go. So that piece is, oops, let's get the cover a little higher so you can see better. That's piece 38. And we have the other 39 there. Let's get those off and cleaned up. So Dave should be home in about 90 minutes, so hopefully he might be able to join at some stage in your stream, Scott, after mine. Scalpel, that was way too tight to get a pair of nippers in there. I can just peel this back slowly. So your stream, Scott, what are you going to be doing on there, mate? You're going to be doing the finishing touches on the P47? That came over a little bit so you can see what I'm up to. Yeah, and when you've done that one, Scott, I believe you're on to the KG5, aren't you? I believe you and Terry were going to be working on that as part of a group build. I would join you on something like that, but I would make an absolute pig's ear of that. Sophie, you're one scale tray of make donuts. Good God. I don't think that Scott would make them. Well, he would. He'd make them disappear is what he would do. That'll fit. Yeah, if you give a big tray of donuts to Scott, he would be like a koala with a fresh eucalyptus tree. He really would. Right. While I remember, hopefully, let's try and get this a little bit focused in a bit better. There you go. Hopefully, the next in this series of live streams on this ship will be again on Thursday from 11 till no, actually, what time did I do the other day? I did it earlier, didn't I? Can't remember. No, it was later, wasn't it? It was 4 p.m. until 6. So yeah, I'll go with the same time again on Thursday, 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. on this week's second episode of this live build. It's a bit awkward to get to, so. Of course, it's only awkward because I should have put this one in before I put the straight one, but there you go. Such is life. Okay, so I think I've got the necessaries on there. We'll give that a minute or two to go off, and then I can put that to one side to rest up and look at what else we're going to be doing. So yeah, we're getting through it quite quick, I suppose. We're not doing too bad. We're already up to part 21 of the build. I mean, obviously there are other bits and pieces here that I haven't touched yet, like the decking. I mean, obviously I do absolutely see no point in putting one half of the hull onto the stand and then building everything around it and then expecting to put the front on. Absolutely stupid. So I'm definitely not going to do it with regards to their boot. But I will carry on and we'll see what we can get done. What I might do though, as I say, is I might get some of these decals in. I've got sort of like about, well, if I go to a quarter to one, I think, that way it will give me time to, say, to grab a quick break before Scott's stream starts. I might join him for an hour then after mine. So, yeah, we'll go till a quarter to one, I think. So saying time for me to get ready for work. Thank you for a great live stream, Graham. Take care, everyone. So thanks very, very much for coming in. It's always appreciated. Always good to see you. And hope work goes well. Here we go. More. That will do. There we go. So, conning tower is coming together quite nicely, really. Very happy with the way that's going. Right. Let's have a look. Done that. I can knock that off to the to-do list. Because I say what I need to do really is just fill those two holes there, I think. I'm not going to bother putting yet another one on because I'm not sure it would be right anyway, so. Let's have a look here a second, see what I've got on me. Sprues. Just have a look, see how that actually fits and where that fits in the grand scheme of things on the deck. So, only two holes there which are fit to, and I'm assuming it's going to be. It looks like the two holes we've got, it sort of fits. No, it can't fit there, surely. No, they definitely don't fit there. Right, I'm going to have a check at that as we go along, to see the exact fitment, because it's not that bloody clear on the section there anyway. But we shall see as we go along. I'm not too worried about that at the moment. Right, where am I? Okay, so we've got the conning tower made up. Right, I think I might go for a change of tack and look at getting these decals put in if I have suitable gear around me to do it. Let's have a look, see. Yeah, I've got all this stuff here, just about. Just a quick catch up on chat. Dorcas saying good morning. Are you, Dorcas? Hope you're well, mate. Oh, okay, and Zombie's off. Okay, guys, I'm off. Had a big day. I'll catch everyone later. See ya. Zombie, thanks for coming in, mate. It's always appreciated. You take care. Right, okay. Let's get this, a little bit of this done, if nothing else. Grab me a little drinks pot. Some fresh water in there. What else do I need? I need to make space first of all, obviously. So, do you know what? I've got a pretty large bench here that I could actually work at, but literally I've only got about sort of like 1.5 feet wide by 1 foot deep that I've actually got a cutting board on. And the rest of it is taken up with gumph and rubbish and God knows what else that I don't really need on my desk. I just need it close to hand, really. But it doesn't stop it getting in the way. Let's make a little bit of space here, so I can shift things around as I go. Because obviously I'm going to need to get the large hull piece up on the desk in order to start doing some of this decaling. So there we go. As you can see, there is a little bit of detail on the inside of that, sort of along here. But yeah, I'll see what I can do with regards to getting a few of these decals in place. Let's see if I've got them out. I should have already got them out of the box. Okay, so we have the decals. Now hopefully they'll go down as well as the ones that I put in the conning tower the other day. I mean, they are quite nice decals all in all, I think. They're not too thick enough to be able to move around without too much fear of damaging, which is always good. But yeah, quite nice really. At least they give you a nice little stand decal for the stand as well, which is okay, I suppose. You know, but the only thing I am disappointed with is the fact that they've left a certain historical symbol out of the ensign pennant. So yeah, but such is life. And I mean, I'm sure I've got small enough ones from other kits and that in my stash to be able to replace those if I want to. But yeah, we'll see how that goes anyway. So let's have a look, see what's the first decal number that I need. And to my mind, go down there, it's going to be 48. So let's find that first. Let's see. How don't we fit in the grand scheme of things on there? Okay, that looks quite a weird, convoluted shaped one, to be perfectly honest. Right, I'll cut it out first so you can see it. Cut out the number as well so I can get rid of that. Okay. Paste over. Get rid of these for the time being. Decal number 48. When on the surface, do not stand close to the edge. I thought it might have been nearer along the lines of, I don't know, when submerged, don't leave the back door open. Something like that, you know. Okay, so yeah, part 48 is sort of 3 wheels and a dial. So and it says it's very, very obscure as to where exactly it goes. It just points up in a general direction, then puts a ring. But we will have a look. Might as well check it out on the paper before I start fixing it in position. Right, I am going to make the assumption that the dial actually goes on this little circular section there. You can see how that looks afterwards. As I say, I don't know how much of this you're actually going to be able to see in the background once you've fed it into position, but we'll find out. Your micro set out, just ready. Don't know what it is with that micro set, but every time I open it and smell vinegar, I think myself I could murder a portion of fish and chips. quick look. Okay. Right. Right, let's see how this goes, shall we? Pretty loose already, that's good. No, nope, that just broke. So, let's get the bit that I assumed was going there first, work it from there. Pull that apart to get it moving. Stay where you are. Thank you. And I need to get you down towards the bottom. He said, talking to himself as usual. Never worry about putting too much water on. Especially with submarines, because they were meant to sink. So now you can turn around. I suppose this could be worse. It could be a mini arc kit, in which case all of these little dials would be individual pieces. So, comes on down the bottom. Lovely. Just want to reposition that one slightly. Right. Always a nuisance when that happens. You press it down with the cotton bud and it sticks to the cotton bud. Give it all that bag. Come here. Okay. Turn that down again. It's sticking to it every time. I might just have to leave that one sitting in position. Get a little bit of solver, micro salt on there instead. Right, give that a sec. A quick look at chat while that's drying off a little bit. Dorcas saying latest 3D order will be here today. My printer will hopefully be here tomorrow. Had to get a replacement and 2 days shipping was a lie. Yeah, well. Yeah, Ethel, write to the supplier a nasty review. Yeah, and as Dorcas says, yeah, Amazon don't care. As I say, you can see the sticky label on the front of the box of this particular kit, where they literally just stuck an address label to the front of the box and that went on the back of the van. So, it's hardly what I would say, careful delivery. And they also left it on the doorstep. My doorstep actually faces out onto the high street. So anybody could have picked it up at any time. And they had the cheek to say, yes, we've delivered it in a secure location. Yeah, right. I don't think they would know a secure location if it jumped up and bit them, to be perfectly honest. But there you go. Right, okay, so first one on. Okay. 60, I might go for 65 actually, which is going to be right at the far end here. I think it's going to be easier to locate the external ones and then work in from there. So 65, which one's 65? Oops, sorry about the noise here. Knocking a little pot over. Well, they have really gone for some weird shaped decals on this. But I suppose we should really be grateful that they've bothered with any detail at all, to be honest. I might have to cut this one out directly, because it wouldn't be easy getting a pair of scissors in there. So look at that and those. Okay. Hopefully I'll cut deep enough to get it out. There we go. Now remember, it needs to go that way up. When I put it on, I can then get rid of the number. And try and put it in the water the right way round. So it reminds me exactly which way it's got to go when I get it out and attempt to put it on the kit. lucky with this one because where you've got that little silver box, don't know if you can see on the piece here, you've got that silvery box at the bottom there. There is actually a corresponding slight, you can barely make it out, but there is a slight corresponding shape moulded into the plastic, so it gives me a better indication with this piece as to exactly where it needs to fit. Try me brush off a little bit. There we go. Get that out and let it soak on the tissue for a minute or two. So, discuss. Do you enjoy doing decals, or is it the worst part of your modelling for you? I'd love to know because, to be perfectly honest, I really don't mind doing decaling. Can add a lot to the finished build. Let's see. Right. This one again has got one dial that just doesn't seem, in fact, they seem to be splitting quite readily. It's now a three-piece decal, but I can see from the positioning how they've got to go, so it ain't too much of a problem. So if I can get them in a rough position first. I'll fit at the top of that. Right. So I'm just holding my breath while I'm doing that part. Going fitting quite nicely here. I think that one could just move up for that. So what I'm going to do is get a little bit of micro sol down on those decals now. Let's give them a minute to soften slightly. Every time I look at that from one angle, this particular decal, it looks like it's slightly angled one way, but actually looking at the overall scheme of the shape of the hull, it is actually in straight. There we go. Let's leave them at that for a sec. Get the lid on the micro salt, because I'm guaranteed to knock one of these bottles over at least once every couple of weeks and lose half the contents, which is why I put my micro set in one of these old Tamiya style bottles. It's one I picked off of Amazon. Got a few of them, so always handy to have those. Just mark up the lid, and I find that there's less chance of me knocking over a heavier glass bottle than there is like a taller plastic bottle, if you know what I mean. So, yeah, just for my own peace of mind and to counteract my own clumsiness. But yeah, right, we're getting the decals in there slow but sure. Just mark off the ones I've already done. Right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, we've only got about 7 minutes to go of this stream, so I might just stop decaling at this point. So we'll take a look at what we were able to achieve. So we managed to get, there we go. That's a little bit better, get a bit more light on the situation. We managed to get the antennas and periscope and mast and everything else on the top of the conning tower. Fit the top section of the conning tower in as well. And I must admit, that was a lovely fit. That's gone in very nicely. I mean, there's a tiny little gap, maybe just there, but a little bit of dissolved putty in there, just right into the gap and right over straight away with a cotton bud will disguise that. We've already done the inside of the conning tower with the periscope bottom in there, so that's looking okay. We've got the anti-aircraft guns made up and painted and ready to go on once this has been painted up, and I may do this off screen between now and Thursday when we've got the next episode of this build series. I'll look to get that painted up by then, and I will also look to get the rest of these decals fitted in inside the hull as well on this side, because that's a bit of a boring thing to watch somebody doing. So I'll try and get that done off screen. And in the next episode, I'm assuming, yeah, I think we'll be going on and looking at starting to build the compartments up on the inside of the subs itself. So as I say, that bit there is not essential because I'm actually building the hydroplanes at the front in the outward position. So I think that's just a block if you don't want them showing. I did notice though on one of the screws, let's see if I can find it quickly before we go. Let's see now. No, it wasn't on that part. Was it on this one? No, so where did I see that? Anyway, I did spot the section that would fit into the outside of the car. Oh, right, I've got it here. Just 1 second, I'll show you. move those over there. Lovely. They do actually supply this piece, which is basically, if you don't want the conning tower open, you can actually fit that section in. Now, obviously, they don't do it for the rest of the hull. You have to have the interior showing on that. But if you didn't want that open, you could actually close that off. So there is that option. If you end up buying this kit yourself and having a go, that if you don't want the conning tower as an open piece and you just want the side of the hull done, you can do. So, yeah, but I think it seems to be coming together quite well. There's been no sort of major issues with it. I would argue potentially with the order of the build instructions, because I mean, why would anybody put half of the hull onto the stand and then start putting decals on the inside of it and then fit the two deck plates on top of one half before you put the other half together? I mean, you just wouldn't do it that way. I would much rather get all the compartments inside done and dusted, keep dry fitting the whole way along until I'm quite happy with it and that the two parts are going together fine. Once I've got the two parts together, I'll then look at fitting those deck sections on the conning tower to the top of that. It seems a much more sort of builder-friendly way, shall I say, of actually putting the kit together. But yeah, on that note, I think we will call it a done deal for today. I will put up the notification for the next episode of this particular build, which will be on Thursday, which is going to be what, 9, 10, 11, 12? It's going to be the 12th, isn't it? Yeah, the 12th of March, and that will be from 4 p.m. till 6 p.m. So you then got half an hour after my stream to get yourself a coffee or a bite to eat or whatever before Terry's stream starts at 6:30. Once again, thank you very much indeed, guys, for coming in. It's always appreciated. If you would be so kind as to give a thumbs up or a like if you've not already done so, that would be brilliant. And well, until next time, happy building, guys. See you soon.